Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Flux with Fluxwithit.com, and today we're going to check out the DrumBrute Impact, but this is not the actual production DrumBrute Impact. So I want to get that out of the way first and foremost. This is actually a prototype that I've had for quite a few months now, and there have been some changes to this unit before the final model was created. And I have one of those on the way out to me, but I don't have it yet, so I thought I would just show you basically what the unit is. Now, there's some minor changes to my unit, and the production unit is fairly close to this. So first thing we want to note is that this unit is a lot more compact than the original DrumBrute. The other thing you'll notice is that the casing is a little bit different. You got these little wings on the side here, which is pretty nice. I'll put up a side shot as well. Big key differences about this. A lot of people said when the DrumBrute came out that they wished it had a distortion on the output. This one does. It has a some people were saying, oh, there should be like the Steiner Parker filter with the brute factor because it is a brute. This isn't quite that. It's its own distortion circuit, and that's a good thing because unlike other drum machines that have distortion on the end, this one does not suck away all your tone, which is great. This distortion sounds pretty cool. The other thing about this is you have a color section down on the bottom here. Color section basically gives you two different flavors of each sound, and so the screen printing on mine is a little bit different from what the final unit has, so you'll notice things are different. Like mine says Snare 2, underneath of it says body. I believe on the production unit that's going to be clap. So when you hold this down, you can see that we have different sections that we can turn on and off. So let's listen to the kick, for instance, and what I'll do is I'm going to put this on a blank pattern. And here we go. So the kick, just like the original DrumBrute, you have your step and then your accent. So now with the color on, of course, accent. Now here's where this gets really cool. That color, you can actually turn that on and off per step. So, we could say, let's say if you hold down color and we're on kick, I can say I want color on hit 5 and 9, but not on 1 and 13. All right. So that's pretty nice that we can go ahead and just add that stuff in there. Some of the updates to the sequencer that have taken place in the DrumBrute are present in this unit as well. You'll also notice that the touch strip is a little bit different than how it was on the DrumBrute. It's really got this nice feel to it, and there's like these ridges in there so you know right where it's at, and it's super sensitive. I mean, you literally, at least on this unit, you can barely touch it, and it'll select where you're at. So it's very easy to bring that in. Let's listen to that overdrive real quick. So you get, essentially we have 4 different colors of the kick on that because we have a step, the accent, then we have the color with step and accent, and then the 5th would be, kicking up the distortion on it as well. So you get a lot of variety just out of that little bit there. Now, this is a analog drum machine in the sense of the old analog drum machines, as same with, the DrumBrute. So if you're buying this thing expecting it to be like an analog rhythm or a Tempest, you're not really looking at this thing correctly, and you need to kind of focus on it as what it actually is, which is a drum machine in the older sense of the term. So the knobs do not have parameter locks. You know, you're not automating knob turns or anything like that. The only thing that you're automating is things that have to do with the sequencer. So, and that includes, of course, your color. And then you can do things like ratcheting per step, which is actually really easy to do. So we'll throw some hi-hats in here, okay? So we'll go to the hi-hat. Get some variety in here. And then let's say the 12th step here, I want that to ratchet. Another really great feature about this is that, so if you hold down Shift and you press the record button, now when I hold Shift, I've already done it. So you'll see that it says unquantize. What's nice about this is, you know, granted, all drum machines are quantized to an extent because of it all depends on what PPQ the sequencer will actually run at. But what this allows us to do is kind of get that sloppy drum feel that a lot of these XOXO style sequencers won't let you get. This will actually let you kind of have more freedom to push and pull your notes a good bit. So now if I hit record and play, I can play in live notes. Now, you'll notice that we have the kick and we have 2 snares on this one. The second snare is it's a bit darker and it's got more of a crack to it. I kind of like snare 2 a bit more. The snare 1 is a little bit more traditional analog snare. So I like to kind of layer the 2 together, and we'll kind of get into that now. If we want to just make this sequence longer, all we have to do is hold down Shift and press over, and now I've doubled the length of that sequence. We still have access to swing and random as we did on the previous units. Let's take a listen to that right now. We'll add in some of these cowbell and cymbal sounds. Cymbal, cowbell. Okay, so we'll add in just 1 hit here, and then I'm going to use current track. So I'm on the cymbal, and I'm going to bring in some random, about 21. Let's say we want some swing. Now we're getting into some of the interesting stuff here. So again, we've got the 2 snares. All right. And the secondary snare has a pretty wide range of the tone control. Okay. And of course we can turn that color on. Okay, and another really great feature is this new FM sound. The FM sound gives you classic FM drum sounds, and you can really toy with it a lot. Now, this is one of the features that, in my opinion, I would have really liked to have been able to automate this. But if you're recording this thing live, you can, you know, tweak it live, and it just sounds really cool. Now, when I get the final production unit, I'm going to go through and kind of check the changes and see just how different the actual final production unit is from mine as far as tone-wise. I know that there were some very slight tweaks that were made to the sound engines on here. So if yours sounds slightly different than this, you know, that's because some tweaks were made. Of these sounds will actually sound really nice when you pair them together. So for instance, mixing a tom and a snare sound sounds actually pretty nice. Just giving you guys an idea of some of the range, and you can check out the range of these kick drum as well. It's pretty. Now, first, for a quick comparison, you can hear I've got a kick drum set up on the Analog Rhythm MK2 over here. So nice analog kick sounds, always good to have in your arsenal, you know. And keep in mind, for the price point that they're shooting for with this thing, which I believe is going to be sub $300, you know, you're looking at some other analog drum machines that maybe didn't fare so well and didn't have voicing done quite as nicely. So for the price point, I think that this thing is actually really cool. Plus, it's super compact and fun to use. I will say one of my favorite things about this is just that the distortion doesn't completely ruin the sound on this thing. On certain other drum machines that have distortion tacked onto the end, man, when you crank it up, either the bottom end completely rips out of the unit and you're left with these farty sounds, or the distortion completely throws the levels off on the unit and it just sounds like a mess. Not so on this. I mean, and it does get really hairy. I mean, you can make it go way past, you know, what would be kind of considered tasteful and get into more raspiness. But in the more tasteful saturation realm, it's pretty nice. And just to give you guys an idea, I'll go into some of the presets here. some of these presets use the kind of sloppy style really well. Here's one. So that's with no swing on. You're still getting that heavy swing because it was recorded and unquantized, which is quite nice. So this is just a quick look at DrumBrute Impact prototype. You can see there's my prototype number on there. If you can see it in the video, I don't know. So yeah, if you got any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you want to know a little bit about the process behind this stuff, I can always try and help you out. And yeah, so this is Flux of Fluxwithit.com. Peace.